Whether you're beaching, camping, off-roading, or just road traveling in general, when it comes to keeping your food, beverages, or even medications cold while you're on the road, there can be a common elephant in the room. And by elephant, I mean a big, heavy cooler full of ice. Though coolers are convenient and can be a great economic solution for your cold storage, they are probably one of the most inefficient methods of long-term storage for your vehicle, especially if you're accessing often without replenishment. The more you open the lid, the more hot air gets trapped inside, accelerating the melting of the ice, and then you're stuck with soggy sandwiches. Nobody likes a soggy Sammy. Well, ICECO has a solution for that, offering a full line of affordable, energy-efficient fridge freezers and accessories to help bring a new level of convenience to your outdoor activities. Recently, ICECO reached out and asked if I'd like to do a review, and I couldn't be more excited for the opportunity to collaborate with them. So if you'd like to learn a little bit more about the VL series fridge freezers and how to install them, stay tuned. I got a bunch of cool stuff to show you. Hey, welcome back to the Gator Overland Channel. I'm John, and for today's video, it brings me great pleasure to announce that we have collaborated with ICECO. Over the past 15 years, ICECO has built a brand whose main focus was to provide a solution for essential food and beverage storage while on the road, and while off-road for that matter. ICECO manufactures and sells these vehicle refrigerators designed to fit the lifestyle of RVers, van lifers, overlanders, truck drivers, or just outdoor enthusiasts in general to ensure that their food is always fresh, their beverages are always cold, wherever they are. In today's video, I'll be reviewing the specs and functions of the VL45 Fridge freezer, as well as doing a full power consumption test with our EcoFlow River Pro. It's a 720 watt power generator, and we will get an idea of exactly how long it will run. A lot of people are interested in combo kits like this to get an idea of how far they can go off-road without recharging. I figured it wouldn't be a proper Gator Overland review without an actual install. As they provided me this fridge, I went ahead and invested in one of their fridge slides, and I'm going to show you how to install it with a few essentials right here. We got some tools. We have some actual rib nuts. These are called plus nuts. They actually allow you to reinforce on the back side of where you're going to install it. And then I have some other name brand products that will allow us to get power to the rear of the vehicle. Now, if this is your first time watching a Gator Overland video, I'm sorry, they tend to run on the long side, but for good reason. I try to answer all the questions in the video so you can make a better decision on your end. But for your viewing convenience, this video is timestamped, allowing you to go to any point in the video without actually having to scroll through. Don't forget to check the video description, as I'll have website links, material links for anything you see here. Let's get started. The VL series fridge freezers, or Van Life series fridge freezers. ICECO actually offers two different model lines within the VL series. You have the standard model like you see here, and you have the VL Pro series. The main differences being that the VL Pro has a few upgrades, having a flex lifting lid allowing you to lift from either side, incorporating two USB jacks on the side and a plug. Other than that, just a few aesthetic differences between the two. What you see here is the VL45. They also offer a 60 single, a 60 dual, a 65 dual, and a 74 single in the VL standard models. Now, the dual models, what that allows you to do, is basically two separate compartments allowing you to select between 0 and 50 degrees Fahrenheit or -18 and 10 degrees Celsius for those of you who run on Celsius. But you can adjust between either or, having them both the same, both freezing, both fridging, or one or the other. It's totally up to you. I think that's a pretty awesome attribute to have whether you're on the road. Ice cream, food and drinks, however you want it to go. It's pretty versatile. So what do you get in the fridge? On the interior here, you will get a welcome kit that includes the owner's manual, which will be very helpful here in a minute when we set everything up. You will get a fridge plug for your 12-volt outlet for your vehicle or running off a battery of sorts. Also works with 24-volt systems. And then you will have your actual wall outlet. There is an inverter built in on the inside and will allow you to power this from the wall of your home conveniently. Next, we're going to cover dimensions and capacities. The VL45 comes in at 27.4 inches long, 15.8 inches wide, and 19.2 inches tall, allowing it to fit easily in the back of most of your SUV cargo areas, and in your full-size trucks, almost guaranteed it will fit under the tonneau cover. The interior capacity volume is approximately 45 liters, and it comes in at 49 pounds. Now, I know what you're thinking. 49 pounds sounds like quite a bit, but most of your high-performance coolers out there, Yetis, Arctics, and similar come in at 25 plus pounds dry, and then you have to add in 2 10-pound bags of ice just to get it cool. Now you're looking at 50 pounds and you haven't even added your food or beverages yet. Well, in some cases that might mean you need 2 coolers to do the storing capacity of what 1 fridge will do, because if you remove the ice, you allow more room for everything else, and it will be ultimately a total load off of your mind, not just in weight, but it will also take the worry about having to constantly replace the ice that melts in your cooler. So ultimately, the fridge is the way to go. Next, we're going to cover construction. This simple shockproof design is definitely built for a harsh environment. You get a steel case lower, a steel upper lid, you get impact resistant corners all the way around the fridge, you get a nice weatherproof coating on the outside of your electronics. All the fasteners used, as you can see, are stainless steel. It comes with these nice, durable, heavy-duty, spring-loaded hinges right here. These also will be your anchor point if you're using a fridge slide. You get these nice stainless steel latches on the outside for a positive lock. And on the interior is definitely insulated, which is really nice. And you get 2 removable baskets, allowing you to take out and go to your fridge inside, preload, put it in here. You can store all the way up to a 13-inch tall item in here. And to finish it all off, it's got this nice platinum shell coating. Feels a little bit like a powder coat, but it's definitely going to be a durable finish. It's not slick, so you can set things off and not have to worry about them sliding off. Overall, fit and finish, I like it. Moving on to the high-quality heart and soul of the VL series fridges. Right here on the other side of this panel housed is a ICECO compressor, the same highly rated, highly efficient compressors that ARB and Dometic trust to use inside their units as well. It has an operation range for cooling between 0 and 50 degrees Fahrenheit or negative 18 degrees Celsius to 10 degrees Celsius. The operation range as far as ambient temperature goes is up to 120 degrees. So if you're thinking about putting it inside your vehicle, do keep in mind when your vehicle is exposed to the sun, it will heat up. You want to monitor, make sure it's not exceeding that 120 degree range. That way you can keep your compressor in good function. Speaking of compressor, we're going to go ahead and put this on here for good measure of angle at least. But the compressor is capable of functioning all the way up to 40 degrees. And we're at 40 degrees right there. Now, this comes into being a great feature whenever it comes to off-roading. Hopefully not off camber, but going up any kind of elevation or inclines. 40 degrees is quite the incline, but you don't have to worry about damaging your compressor. On the other hand, if you're having a fridge slide, there are options out there rather than just being a lateral fridge slide. They actually have a drop-down option, which will put it at probably close to a 40-degree angle. You don't have to worry about compromising your compressor in that case. Now, as far as the consumption of the compressor itself, it has been rated at a 0.269 kilowatt per hour over a 24-hour period, which translates to approximately 11 watts. And even further on down, divide that by 12, about 1 amp per hour. In layman's terms, it means it's really high efficient and it'll run for a long time. And we're going to test that too. Next, we're going to cover power supply input and function of the control panel. As you can see, there's 2 separate power supply inputs, one of which is for your 110-240. The other is for your 12 or 24 volt, allowing you to run it off your vehicle. It turns on momentarily. One thing to note is, as you see, it is not on now. It has a memory. If you were to turn this unit on and it would have a loss of power and then the power came back on, the unit would remember and would actually turn on. In this case, it was off beforehand and it remains off. In order to turn this unit on, all the buttons you see here have this nice button retention, but they all require you to momentarily hold. It's not just an instantaneous on-off. So you hold it down for a moment. As you can see, we have it turned on. 61 degrees is the interior temperature. Up and down right here allows you to quickly set the functions of the interior temperature. It'll blink for a moment and it will go back to the interior habitat temperature. Now, as far as the variable range, if I set it at 30 degrees, once it gets down to 1 to 1.5 degrees below 30 degrees, it'll shut off the compressor. Once it rises 1 to 1.5 degrees above 30 degrees, it will turn back on. So you can imagine, over a period of time, it's only going to function a few times per hour, maybe a few minutes per hour. So at any rate, we're going to get at 61 degrees down to 30. You have your compressor speeds. It's nice that they give you the option of a variable speed. The max speed, obviously max means fast, so it's going to be the fastest way to cool down your unit, but it's going to be the least efficient, allowing you to set it by holding it down. You go to the minimum setting, it will bring it down to temperature, but it will be a lot slower and the most efficient. Probably the best for keeping it in your vehicle. So ideally, you would plug it into the wall, get it nice and cool, put in your goods, and then put it in your vehicle and have it set on that minimum function. That way it cycles really slow over a long period of time. Now, as far as battery protection, not only does this protect you from killing your battery on your vehicle, it also will protect the life of the battery of the vehicle. Last thing your battery on your vehicle needs is to be constantly discharged and charged all the way down to low settings. So there are 3 different priorities: high, medium, and low. High meaning high priority. As soon as it gets down to around 11 volts, it will actually shut off this unit to keep you from having a dead battery. Once your vehicle, or it senses your vehicle, is above 12.4 volts, it will then turn back on again. I believe this one is between 10 and turns back on at 11 volts. And then this one will go all the way down to 9.6 and turn on again at about 10.9 volts. So it's nice to have that reassurance whenever you're actually out there in the middle of nowhere, baseball games or the beach. You have this priority along with the radio on. This is going to shut off, keep your battery safe. But it's highly recommended to have yourself a backup, a jump set, anything like that. So that'll wrap up pretty much everything about the function of the electronics here. Another thing to note, it has a built-in 15 amp fuse. So if you should have an issue where the unit just doesn't work, other than it actually being a compressor issue, check that fuse first. And speaking of issues, when it comes to this unit itself, there is a 5-year warranty on the compressor. There is a 1-year warranty on everything else at a local dealer. And that'll pretty much wrap up this unit. I'm really enjoying this. We're gonna set this thing to the proper temperature, 36 degrees. Should be just fine for most everything. And now it's time to put this thing to the test. We're gonna do 2-time test and a decibel test. The first time test, we're actually gonna power it from the wall to bring it from its current temperature down to my preferred 36 degrees. That's what I'll probably do before any trips that we go on. We'll power it from the wall to save the battery on our vehicle and the battery on our power station. Once it gets down to the 36 degree mark, we're gonna pop it over to the EcoFlow and we'll start the time there and see exactly how long this little unit will be powered by our standalone EcoFlow. I'm hoping for at least 2 days. Anything more than that, I will be completely ecstatic. While this thing is actually powered on, we're going to use an app on the phone to test the decibel level. It should be somewhere between the 45 and 50, which is more or less a whisper in our room. But for the most part, let's get started. I'm going to put that in there. It should initiate. I'll hold that down and turn it on. It's showing the interior temperature is currently at 52 degrees. I'm going to get our timer going here. Start. And while the compressor's on, it's around 55 without me talking, 54, 55. It's super quiet. We have our setting is at 36 degrees and we are on the max setting. So this will be a test of exactly how fast it can cool down. I'm actually going to go one step further. I'm going to use a Bluetooth temperature monitor. Set this right here for a second. Put this on the inside. I forgot to mention earlier, there's a nice LED light on the interior of here. But there we go. Now I'll be able to monitor from afar exactly what time and temperature this thing gets down to 36 degrees. All right, we are down to temperature. Let's see where we're at time-wise. We're at 22 minutes it took to get from the mid-50s down to, well, now 34 degrees at a setting of 36 at the maximum, which is the fastest compressor rating. We're gonna go ahead and select that to minimum, get us prepared for a truck-like situation, whether you're outdoors, whatnot. It'll make the compressor run at the most efficient setting. I'm going to go ahead and plug in our EcoFlow, get that set up there, turn that on. We're at 100%. We're going to activate the 12-volt socket, disconnect the plug from here. We are now on the EcoFlow power. Compressor is not running, and we're going to remove the wall power from the EcoFlow. So we're totally disconnected. Let's go ahead and get our time setting for now. Start our setting for our long. This is going to be a dry run. Keep in mind, it is 80 degrees ambient temperature outside. We are at 81 degrees in the garage. On top, 81 degrees, and let's give an idea of the interior. We are 34, 38, 34, and the bottom is 32. So we're definitely close to the temperatures shown. Starting out, ambient temperatures is 80. Now we'll be able to monitor our power consumption using the app that goes with the EcoFlow and pretty much follow this down and see exactly what the power consumption is. I'm shooting for around 50 hours. That's my estimation. Could be longer than that. It's a 720 watt power generator, and let's see what it does. See you in a couple hours. While our fridge is over there chilling, literally, let's cover some accessories. ICECO does offer some fridge-specific accessories to help optimize the convenience of access, like with this fridge slide you see here, and to optimize the exterior protection and thermal efficiency with a cover like you see here. The cover is a simple zipper slide over setup, allows you to fold it back and access the interior of the fridge. Not only that, you have an access pouch on the side with a zipper so you can store your cords, just to bring a whole new level of protection to your ICECO products. Here we have ICECO's 3-position fridge slide. It is size specific to the VL45 fridge, and in the kit comes with a set of 4 nylon buckle retention straps that allow you to anchor the fridge through the handle and through these little slots right here to the deck of your slide without having any issues. Have a nice solid foundation on there. The dimensions come in at 28 inches long by 18 inches wide, and from the bottom to the deck of where the fridge will sit is right approximately about 2 inches. So it will lift your fridge about 2 inches. It's already about 19.2 inches, so it'll be about 21.2 inches tall. Just keep in mind, if you have a tonneau cover, it may get close to it. If not, make it to where it's not usable for that matter. So it is a 3-position slide. As you can see right here, there are a set of locking notches at 3 positions, allowing you to have a positive click in there. Here's the next notch right here, and click in there. And you have the option of holding up on the handle here and just going until it stops, or holding up on the handle and just going all the way in. It is a set of ball bearing sliders on here. The material itself is just incredible. It's definitely brute. I measured it out. It's just right at 1/8-inch steel, and I really don't think you're going to have any issues bending, flexing, or anything like that. It does offer the same platinum shell coating that comes on the fridge itself, so you know it's going to be pretty good to stand up to harsh conditions. Now, looking at it from the bottom, you can see that it comes with predetermined holes. Now, if you're on a decked system, an SUV, that will probably not be as big of an issue, but some of you who are using it in the bed of your truck, you'll notice that it has an actual ribbed decking there. You might have some issues of this not lining up exactly where it is. No problem. You can just drill for your own holes as you see fit. We'll go over more of that on the installation process. Now that we've covered ease of accessing your fridge, let's go over ease of wiring your fridge. Now, I'm only including this in review because later on we are going to do an installation, and I feel these are components that are necessary for installation, especially if you're doing it like us, where you're putting it in an area where there is not an access to 12 volt. Those of you who are van life, RVs, or SUVs, you find that you don't have a 12 volt accessory port, I have a great option for you. It is not anything to discredit about ICECO. They just do not offer a remote 12 volt source yet. So there's another great company out there called ARB that offers a pre-wired fridge loom that comes equipped with 10-gauge wiring. You get 2 terminals to go on your battery connector, an inline fuse that already has a 15 amp, and you already have your clipped ends ready to snip, clip, and put on your spade connectors. Your spade connectors will actually mount on the interior of a weatherproof housing right here. Not only that, but you have a little rubber stopper right there to guarantee no water gets on the inside. Another great feature about this particular housing, we're going to include this. This is actually an ARB fridge plug. The great thing about this is it will actually power your ICECO and Dometic fridges. It's got the same actual pattern for the plug here. I've actually done the research on the plugs themselves. The wiring, the cords are exactly the same. There is some nomenclature in the ICECO warranty manual that actually says do not use any other plugs other than advised. All the information is exactly the same. But there is a kicker. This is a two-piece plug, allowing you to remove the 12-volt accessory end, exposing the two-prong proprietary end that actually goes into the ARB plug and allows you to fasten tight. The advantage of this is once you have it fastened tight and you get on a trail, you don't have to worry about it pulling out and then the potential of turning off your fridge or any other accessories and having spoiled meat or just power down. So that is a super convenience, and I'll only again mention it because I use this in nearly every one of my vehicles, especially if I'm using 12-volt power sources, because we get pretty rough on the trail and we don't want anything to spoil. So I wanted to include that. You don't have to worry about anything else as far as that goes. Let's get installed. All right, moment of truth. We have 1% left on our EcoFlow power station, and the other day I had said I hope to get 50 hours out of this thing. I think you guys are going to be impressed with this. We're at over 72.5 hours of runtime of this fridge with that EcoFlow power station. That is awesome. Incredible efficiency. To put it in perspective, that's a 720 watt-hour unit. 72 hours, those divide out to works to 10 watts per hour, which is even less than what the advertised rating for this thing. The 0.269 kilowatts per hour works out to about 11 watts per hour. This is showing 10. You take 10 watts per hour and divide that by 12. That means this thing functions over that period of time for less than an amp per hour. So your vehicle is going to be safe. You can not have to worry about this running overnight. In fact, as far as running, it would run at approximately 20 watts to about 40 watts. And they would run for about a 10-minute period of time and just a few times per hour, if at all. And it had no problem maintaining this 36 degrees over that period of time. That is super efficiency. I don't know what else to say about it. The ambient temperature has been in the 80s all week, and we are currently 77 degrees here in the garage. So any of you who are planning on putting it into the bed of the vehicle, that's what you can expect. Now, we did do a dry run with this cooler. There is absolutely nothing in here, which will yield the least amount of time expectancy to run off a unit like this. Once you fill the cooler full of stuff, it will actually hold the temperature longer, and you can actually feel free to open up the fridge and not have to worry about air escaping and all that stuff. It will actually hold the temperature longer than you can expect with this. So bring on hurricane season. If you have deer sausage, fish, or anything, you have a power outage, you have at least 3 days that you can throw in this. Plug a solar panel into that and extend that even further. And even on top of that, if you're overlanding, you're going out, you don't have to worry about recharging this unit for 3 days with this. You have breakfast, lunch, and dinner. You only open it a few times, maybe to get some cold brews, things like that. You are good to go. 72 hours. That is awesome. I'm so impressed. What do you say we get this fridge installed? I figured since ICECO was kind enough to send this fridge out for review, I'd pay it forward and give it to someone who's going to put it to good use. Everyone, this is Kyle. Over the past couple years, Kyle has led adventure trips from Texas to Arkansas, Colorado, and Utah, and in that amount of time has developed over 10,000 followers on his Instagram. He has a Toyota Tacoma adventure rig that has just about every overlanding accessory you can think of except a fridge. So what do you say, Kyle? You ready to give up the ice chest for an ICECO?
Oh, been ready.
Hell yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it.
So as mentioned before, there are predetermined holes in the bottom of the slide itself, but sometimes they don't line up with the actual ribs. So in that case, you have to improvise and make your own holes. So we're going to go ahead and do that now. We've found that there is a good spot here. Make sure you look underneath the bed to make sure you're not going to get any wiring, any frame fixtures or anything like that. And also in vehicles like Toyota Tacoma, their actual bed decking is a polymer fiberglass type material. It is not actually metal. So do keep in mind that there are some critical issues that can go on for reinforcement on the bottom side of the bed. So let's get started. So now we already have our holes placed in our slide, and we did it on top of the bed and in through the bed so they all correspond with each other. Slides out of the way. We're going to use our step bit. Our actual plus nuts are a diameter of 1/2 inches. We have a 1/2 inch diameter step bit in here. We're going to go to the holes we've now made in the bed, punch it out. Now for the holes that we're going to drill into the slide, we are not going to do the full 1/2 inch. These are going to be 5/16 bolts, so we'll want to do about a 3/8. We have that marked right here on our step bit. All right, affixing the plus nut. As mentioned before, this actually reinforces on the back side, so this would be the bottom side of the actual bed itself. All you'll need is your plus nut. You'll need a bolt that has full engagement past the end. And what you're going to do from here, slide on the washer. They do make special tools for this, but this is going to be just a shade tree way of doing it. I'm going to screw this on just like that. And what this allows you to do is have control of your plus nut by hand. Switch your drill over to a torque setting and somewhere where it does actually click and stop. Now just back out your nut. Plus nut's installed. That simple. We're going to take a smaller 5/16 bolt and a washer just for a little bit better displacement. We're going to snug those down, and when installing these, we're going to do them to 18 foot-pounds. All right, fridge is installed. They have the wiring all done. What do you think about that?
No more ice. Can't wait to hit the trail.
Well, that about wraps things up. If you enjoyed today's video, found it informative or helpful in making your decision to go with ICECO or ICECO products, give us a big thumbs up. Let us know how we're doing. Share if you'd like. I'd appreciate that. For a heads up on any future installs or adventures, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, notification bell. You can follow us along our journey. Don't forget to check the description below for links to websites and materials used in this video, as well as links to Kyle's Jeep Adventures. I said Jeep. I'm not editing that out. I'm used to saying that. Toyota Outdoor Adventures, and you can reach out to him and actually maybe even join him or see him on the trail. Remember, we at Gator Overland encourage each and every one of you to take a daily moment to unplug and reconnect with the outdoors, even if it's just for a few minutes. Have fun, keep it safe, and just go. And sometimes pay it forward. Thanks, y'all.